Don't be a Ted. You've got a lot to win. Give yourself a chance. Play lotto games from the South Dakota Lottery today. Good fun. Must be 18 to play. Please play responsibly.
Here's good news from Pro Auto Care if you're looking to economize your budget. Pro Auto Care can help you get more time and mileage out of your vehicle with regular maintenance and sensible, affordable repairs. Tom and his Pro Auto Care team will save you a lot of money without you having to replace your current vehicle. At Pro Auto Care, they find and repair small, inexpensive issues before they become big, expensive problems. Schedule an inspection of your vehicle now at Pro Auto Care. Open for business as usual at 1891 Rand Road, Rapid City. Collins Siding has been the region's premier window siding, door, and gutter installation specialist since 1974. They use only the highest quality materials and never compromise on their workmanship. Collins Siding is licensed, bonded, and their estimates always include labor, materials, and applicable permits and taxes. Collins Siding has been providing top quality service and exceeding high standards for over 45 years, and you can find out how by visiting them at 2016 Cherry Avenue. Collins Siding, 2016 Cherry Avenue, Rapid City.
No one has a handbook for what we're living through today, which is why the experience you have access to makes all the difference in how you make it to tomorrow. For decades, Dakota Bank has worked with ag producers through industry, economic, and regional changes. We're committed to agriculture. We're committed to the producers and families that make our communities great. Go with commitment, experience, and integrity. Dakota Bank, banking, insurance, mortgage, and trust. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Insurance and trust not FDIC insured.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City. This is the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM. Fox Sports Rapid City.
And here's what you need to know.
Cardinals and Rams tonight in an NFC wildcard showdown in L.A. Kickoff 8:15 Eastern time as the Cardinals will have J.J. Watt available, activated from injured reserve as he returns from a shoulder injury. The Niners have the Packers on Saturday, and it looks like they will have Fred Warner and Jimmy Garoppolo. Head coach Kyle Shanahan says that Warner is dealing with a low ankle sprain and has a good chance to play against the Packers, while Garoppolo sprained his throwing shoulder in yesterday's win against the Cowboys, but should be good to go on Saturday night. Multiple reports say the Raiders have requested an interview with Patriots linebackers coach Gerard Mayo for their head coaching position. Rich Bisaccia continues to be the team's interim head coach. Raiders also speaking with Patriots executive Dave Ziegler for their GM position. At the moment, Mike Mayock remains the Raiders general manager. Cavs beat the Nets today, 114-107. Darius Garland, 22 points. Miles Bridges, 38. Hornets beat the Knicks, 98-88.
It's time for the only live and local sports talk show in the Black Hills. This is the Nate Brown Show, featuring live callers, live interviews, and local sports. Exclusively on 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City. And streaming online right now at foxsportsrapidcity.com. From the biggest national names to the hottest local stories, welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host.
Well, good Monday afternoon, Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Hope you're having a great day. It's always a great day in the Black Hills, and we're back and ready. The Nate Brown Show is live, South Dakota Sports Talk Show from our downtown studio. Hope you had a nice weekend, some of you having the day off, and I hope you're enjoying it. 50s in the Black Hills. I'm seeing people golfing today. We got people golfing, so we'll be along for the ride. We're going to get after it today. A little Reaction Monday on the Nate Brown Show. We got you covered from local, regional to the national level. All right, here, South Dakota Sports Talk Show brought to you in part by Black Hills Urgent Care. They're committed to providing exceptional care for you and your family. That's the place me and my family go. Black Hills Urgent Care, safe, clean, and ready to help. Open 7 days a week. Black Hills Urgent Care, the faster way to get better. You don't need an appointment. You can walk in, but if you want to avoid any wait at all, really convenient. Schedule on your phone, bhucare.com. You can get right in, bhucare.com with the letter U. Black Hills Urgent Care, the faster way to get better. And back on a Monday with NFL national writer Yahoo Sports Frank Schwab with a reaction to the wild card weekend. It's interesting. There really wasn't great games, some high-flying offensive, unbelievable numbers, but not some great games. We'll see tonight. I think tonight's going to be pretty good. I'm taking the Rams there tonight. And, by the way, I didn't do so well on the picks. Feel free to fade, all right? Feel free to fade me on that. Leave it to the Cowboys to be the favorite that loses. You know, all these favorites winning and covering and winning and covering, and leave it to the Cowboys yesterday to not only lose, and they have the home game, the whole thing. We'll talk to Frank Schwab coming up, NFL national writer, Yahoo Sports. There's an interesting scenario with the Vikings, okay? The Vikings are looking at some GM candidates, and they've got their list. So if you haven't heard about this, they've got their list. They've got 8 people on the list for the Minnesota Vikings. A lot of you have commented here saying, hey, that's the most important thing. Yes, the head coach is the face and who we see and the football operations, but the GM is what is most important. So who the Vikings looking at? A brand new guest on this show, Vikings writer, ZoneCoverage.com. He has a daily podcast, Locked on Vikings, Luke Braun, live straight ahead. He's really good, and he's got the breakdown of the 8 GM candidates. We'll get into the head coaching stuff, too. We'll talk Buccaneers with Pat Donovan live from Tampa, Florida tonight. NFL analyst, PFF.com's Brad Spielberger, and South Dakota broadcaster Mike Henriksen all dropping by on a Monday. Wow, we are out of the gate. And I'll tell you, I've been looking at this saying, all right, what are we going to discuss to start the Monday show? There's a lot of ways we can go. But you know what's not being discussed by the national media too much? You know, everybody's focused on the Cowboys debacle yesterday, and I know that's instant reaction there. And the Cowboys struggle, and they choke, and the whole thing. You know who I'm focused on? It was a historical NFL performance. It was history in the making. And the media doesn't love it nationally because they didn't really like him coming out of college. They thought he was going to be a bust. And he just put up unbelievable performance against the Godfather, Bill Belichick, and this top 5 Patriots defense. My guy, somebody's got to stick up for him here in this region, in this country. Buffalo Bills quarterback Josh Allen. Okay, we'll get to that. First, let's get to a call. Thanks for getting in. You're live and you go ahead.
Hi, Nate.
Hey, how we doing?
Good. Well, now, I'm going to start off by saying, now I know why I hate the Cowboys and I hate their fans.
Yeah, I got you on that.
And I'm wondering, when's the fine coming down from the commissioner for Dak Prescott, basically saying it was okay for the fans to throw water bottles at the officials? He said that last night after the game.
Well, I don't know if he said it was okay, did he? I mean, he said they were frustration, and right?
Yeah, but he said he thought they were throwing them at him first, or at the team, and then when they said no, they were throwing them at the officials. He said, "Well, I can see why they were running off the field," and he said, "I concur with what they did." So, to me, that's the
you
Cowboys.
Can't have that. You can't have that.
Yeah, no, and the officials always run off the field. He doesn't know that. And it's his fault. It's their own fault they didn't get down there. They should have thrown 2 long passes into the end zone and looked for an interference call instead of trying to run a quarterback draw up the middle of the field with no timeouts left. It's their own fault. They're yelling at the ref because he didn't spot the ball or that he grabbed the ball. And they're supposed to spot the ball.
Correct.
The referee's supposed to spot the ball to get the correct.
The refs didn't lose that game for him. And Cowboys fans, emotional, and the refs didn't lose the game for him. They just couldn't take it. I mean, that's the fact.
14 penalties. He had 14
Correct.
penalties, which killed you, and every one of them was justified. And as an official, I think it's totally uncalled for a quarterback to blame the officials for the last play. Who knows if he would have got a touchdown anyway on the next play?
No, right. But we act like they were going to get a TD. That they were going to be at the 24-yard line. Right.
Yeah, you lost that game in the first half, and you came out and got your butt kicked the first half, and all these multi-million-dollar. I mean, Dak's on my buddy Kirk Cousins. Well, you're paying $40 million to this guy.
Yeah, $70 million this year.
17 points. Yeah, couldn't score 17 points, barely 17 points.
Well, leave it to an old official like yourself to say that was bogus. It's okay. That's all right. I appreciate you getting in. I know what you're saying. Thanks. I appreciate that. No, Here's the deal. There was a penalty earlier in that game yesterday, okay? There was a penalty earlier in that game in the final drive of the 49ers, a defensive hold by Gregory, the defensive end for the Cowboys, a takedown, and that's why it was going down to the final seconds. They would have had over a minute. The Cowboys would have had over a minute, and we wouldn't have to worry about Dak sliding and not getting the ball placed and the refs being blamed and the fans throwing stuff. And the Cowboys just choked it. It happens a lot. And that's the end of the story. I mean, this should leave it all. This should tell you what they were thinking. Mike McCarthy said, we talked to our analytics guys about that last play. That's the play they recommended, so we went with it. We're talking to analytics guys about the play to run in the final minute of the game? Oh, boy. Thanks for calling. You're live today, and you go ahead.
Hey, Nate. Thanks for taking my call. I'm on the road and headed back to Mayo Clinic, and I'm listening to your show. I was waiting for it to come on, so
I appreciate it.
Out here.
I appreciate it. What's up?
Hey, a couple of really quick things, kind of various topics, whatever. The Cowboys game, yeah, I really enjoyed that, actually. The Cowboys finding a way to lose.
Oh, no.
And, not only that, it's like, too, it's the thing that I guess I haven't had a bit on the road, and I've been gone, but if anybody's really talking about how Garoppolo gave the ball back to the Cowboys.
Yes.
What a screw up that was. So you got both those guys that, you know.
Cowboys had plenty of opportunities. Plenty.
Yeah.
Plenty.
The national media is so, just trying to write the narrative on Dak Prescott. He's a good quarterback, but he's not elite. And just the other thing I wanted to get real quick is a buddy of mine just texted me and said that Chubba Purdy from Florida State committed to Nebraska today. So
yes, I saw that.
Get another quarterback.
Yep. I mean, the Huskers have two guys now. I mean, they're going to go with that kid from Texas more than likely, but now they got another guy. You got to have options, right?
Yeah, he's got 4 years
right,
eligibility, and they still have Logan Smothers, and well, I think it's super smart. You look like Ohio State and Alabama and these other places. Georgia's had the same thing with quarterbacks. Is you got to get 4 or 5 in a room, especially now, because 2 or 3 of them could become free agents if you actually land another guy.
Yes,
so.
That no doubt. No, that was a big one. I'm going to hit on that. I appreciate it. Thanks for getting in.
Hey, take care, man.
All right, thanks for listening. He's on the road. Whatever you're up to this Martin Luther King Jr. Day, thanks for spending time. We're off and running on a Monday. Are Cowboys fans going to come to the defense of their team here? I don't want to get into that. I wasn't starting the show with the Cowboys totally. I do want to say this though. There's just too many mistakes there. The penalties were off the charts. The last play is what it is. It wasn't the ref's fault, and that's just the way it is. The Cowboys haven't been able to get over the top, and I knew I was making a mistake last week. I said, I think the Cowboys are going to finally get this win here in the first round. I think they're going to get this, and it just felt like the most classic thing. Of course they're not going to get it. And Mike McCarthy and the Cowboys now not moving forward. I do have a question of the day that I'm going to get to on the teams remaining in the NFL playoffs, but I just want to hit on this because I know sometimes the media goes to the negative aspect and this play and that decision and that whole thing. And I just want to make sure that everybody understands that as soon as this guy fails, they hit him quickly. And this is the way it's been the last few years. As soon as this quarterback fails, oh, he's struggling. Oh, I don't know. Maybe he's not the answer. I don't know. It's just not good enough. And they always talk about Josh Allen with the Buffalo Bills because he's had to go up against the wall since his time at Wyoming. Nobody thought he was going to be good enough. Nobody thought he was accurate enough. Nobody thought he was going to be a franchise quarterback. And he just keeps on plugging away. And then he has the best, maybe playoff game in NFL history statistically. I mean, Josh Allen Saturday night might have had the best game, and you don't hear squawk. I mean, it's because most of the folks say, well, just, if Josh Allen goes down in flames, you hear about Bill Belichick and the Patriots defense and the top 5 and nobody, he's just a mastermind. And Josh Allen just torched him. And why I say this, it's the first time you've ever seen what? No punts, no picks, no fumbles lost, no field goals, all touchdowns every single drive until they decided to kneel it down at the end. This is a touchdown every single drive. Josh Allen had more touchdown passes than incompletions Saturday night. And, I mean, you got to dig for this stuff because most of the folks, it's all about this quarterback and look at this guy, and it's going to be Mahomes and it's going to be Rodgers. It may end up being that way, but I'm telling you, it's so quick to criticize, yet not looking at the big picture of this was all against the top 5 NFL defense and Bill Belichick and the Patriots. And Josh Allen out of little old Wyoming is actually the highest graded quarterback by PFF ever this season. The highest single game grade given to a quarterback, 94.8 from the guys at PFF. We're going to talk to one of them coming up, Brad Spielberger. So let me just tell you, there's been about 600 playoff games in NFL history, okay? There's been about 600 playoff games. The first guy to have over 300 passing yards, 5+ touchdowns, over 60 rushing yards, that's my guy. First time ever. Over 300 passing yards, 5+ touchdowns, over 60 yards rushing. And it was in, 4-degree weather? 4-degree weather in Buffalo? So I just want everybody, take a step back. We'll see what happens with the Chiefs and the Bills. We shall see. Bills got to go on the road. We know how tough it is. Let me tell you, I'm the first to say the Chiefs, they're the real deal. I didn't bail on them a long time ago this season like a lot of folks. Oh, man, I don't know about this team. I don't know. I didn't bail on this program. I'm a Broncos fan, and I said, just take it easy on the Chiefs. They're going to be just fine. So now we got a showdown Sunday night, and I'm going to tell you, everybody's going to say it's Mahomes, it's Mahomes, it's Mahomes. Maybe my guy Josh Allen finally, it's going to have to taking down a Super Bowl contender, the Super Bowl appearance team the last 2 years. Maybe he'll finally get some respect. Everybody's so quick to hammer him. Wow, Josh Allen did this, and he wasn't quite good in this game. Then when he has an unbelievable, historic effort, everybody's a little bit quiet, just a little bit quiet, and I want to see how it turns out. Is that what it's going to take, the Bills to finally get over the top and Josh Allen to get the respect of a franchise leader, an elite quarterback, to beat the Chiefs? That might be what it takes. That might be what it takes. I'll be back next Monday, and we shall see. And just wait. If the Bills go down, what's it going to be? Oh, Josh, I don't know. It's Josh Allen. I just don't know. Give the guy some props. Give the guy out of Wyoming. Nobody believed in him. The Broncos whiffed on him at the number 5 pick. That's a total whiff you've ever seen in your life. And now the Bills are in the playoffs for 3 straight years under Allen, and he has maybe the best game in postseason history. It's the first time you've ever seen it. No punts, no picks, no fumbles lost, no field goals, all touchdowns every drive. And now the biggest game of the weekend, in my opinion, it's Mahomes and Allen, the Bills and the Chiefs. It's a biggie Sunday night. I'll talk to Frank Schwab, NFL writer at Yahoo Sports. We'll get into a question of the day coming up as well. I will tell you, this is going to be an interesting weekend coming up. This wild card weekend was a little bit of a letdown. The only drama really was yesterday's Cowboys 49ers. This weekend coming up, I think you're going to have some barn burners. I think you are going to have some games. Frank Schwab on his take, and a little Rams Cardinals preview tonight. I'm going Rams. Where's Frank going next?
Your sports, your show. This is the Nate Brown Show on 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City.
At Terrell Tires in the Speed Center, we let our customers do the talking.
Very well-maintained tire and speed shop, over-the-top service, and very reasonably priced. Need I say more?
Scott and crew at Terrell Tires have always gone over and beyond for us. Great prices for great tires. Also, anytime we've needed odd-sized tires for ranch equipment, Scott gets us what we need.
Great customer service. Spent plenty of time answering all of our questions, and the truck looks awesome with the new rims.
Terrell Tires and the Speed Center, 105 North Campbell Street, Rapid City.
Are new windows from Renewal by Andersen a great investment? You're darn right they are. Did you know that for less than your cable bill or cell phone bill each month, you could have new windows from Renewal by Andersen right now? Do the math. Renewal by Andersen windows will likely cut your energy bills significantly. They will likely substantially increase the value of your home. They're a great investment. Please contact our team now and ask about our fantastic financing options with approved credit right now. Renewal by Andersen, a great investment? You're darn right.
6. Danny Manholt Rapid Chevrolet buys cars. You heard that right. We don't just sell cars, we buy them too. We make cash offers to purchase local cars, trucks, and SUVs every day. Tired of listing online? Tired of messages? Or just tired of making payments? Whatever the reason, make an appointment at rapidchevrolet.com for a no-obligation appraisal. It's fast and free. When you're ready to sell, we're ready to buy. At Danny Manholt Rapid Chevrolet, Rapid City.
Black Hills Community Bank wants you to know that now may be the best time to refinance, purchase, or even build a brand new home. With rates this low, Black Hills Community Bank is well positioned to be your local partner. They are your home loans bank with local originators underwriting, processing, and closings. They challenge themselves to close every loan on time. This may be the time to think about home ownership or refinancing with Black Hills Community Bank in Rapid City and Spearfish. Online at bhcbank.com. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
At Renewal by Andersen, we are proud to be considered the best replacement window company in the nation. And we love it when our customers do lots of research on their own and then call us. Renewal by Andersen products are at a different level from the others for sure, but our story is much more about people than it is about products. Renewal by Andersen franchises are local family businesses. Installers are full-time experts, not subcontractors. The owner of the franchise in this part of America grew up on a ranch. He learned what hard work and integrity were all about from great parents as a boy. He simply would not represent a poor quality window company, which is why this Renewal by Andersen franchise is one of the most respected and decorated in the nation. If you're even considering new windows, please reach out to the team at Renewal by Andersen for a no-pressure conversation. Please visit us on the web at rbarapidcity.com to learn about our financing and book your free in-home consultation. Renewal by Andersen, proud of our products, proud of our people.
If you have a Mercedes, Audi, Porsche, BMW, Volvo, or any other high-end import, you might think you have to take your car to Denver or further for service. Hi, this is Martin from Al's D&I Repair. Don't plan your life around taking your car for service in a town 400 miles away. Bring it to Al's D&I Repair. Our technicians are trained to work on those complicated cars, and we also have the tools and equipment so they have everything they need to make sure your car is working perfectly.
Call Al's D&I to set up your appointment at 348-1447.
Broadcasting from the Anytime Auto Sales, Service, and Detail Studio. Sales, service, and side-by-sides. This is Fox Sports Rapid City.
Hey, welcome back in. Thanks for being here, spending time with us. The Nate Brown Show live on Fox Sports Rapid City. Hope you're having a good day. Some of you having the day off. That's great. Martin Luther King Jr. Day, a special day. I'll tell you, thanks for being a part of the program. Talk to Pat Donovan coming up. Talking Buccaneers and more. WDAE Tampa Bay. Pat Donovan on tap. NFL analyst for PFF. Brad Spielberger on the way as well. Get some reaction to the NFL wildcard weekend. It's not quite over, so I want to get his pick, too, for tonight. 6:15 Mountain Time start, Rams, Cardinals. I'm going Rams. I don't love taking that number, so I just went money line there, just Rams to win. They're 3-point favorites right now. It's Frank Schwab in, NFL writer, Yahoo Sports, kicking things off on a Monday on Fox Sports Rapid City. Find him on Twitter at Yahoo Schwab. Frank, thanks for coming on. How are you?
Hey, what's going on?
Doing all right, man. So I don't love the number. Maybe I'm just a little nervous here. Rams, Cardinals, not quite sure what to expect. How do you see this breaking down tonight?
Very tough game to call because both teams are up and down. They're unpredictable. Like I've been kind of saying, the Arizona Cardinals last 3 games, they lost to the Lions, they won at Dallas, and then with a chance to win the NFC West, they lose at home to a 10-loss Seahawks team. Like, what can you even make of that pattern? Like, I mean, and, they've lost 4 or 5, but we all know the talent they have, and getting J.J. Watt back clearly helps. I don't know how much he's going to play tonight, but it can't hurt. So I don't trust necessarily what we're going to get out of the Cardinals, but I don't trust what we're going to get out of the Rams either. They've been very turnover-prone lately in a game last week that, they figured they needed to win to clinch the NFC West. They let the 49ers come back from 17-zip, let them drive 88 yards to tie the game and send it to overtime. They got lucky the Cardinals lost, but wasn't a great performance by the Rams. So I think both of these teams have a lot of questions, and it just makes for a really, really unpredictable game.
I would be stunned if the Rams lose. I mean, they feel like they're a Super Bowl contender, or at least they thought they were. I'd be stunned if they lose, no?
I guess so. Not really. I mean, I thought the Cowboys were a Super Bowl contender too. I mean, I think the Rams have been one of those teams that, I mean, just because they got a lot of big names and McVay is a high-profile coach and they've had some good moments, that we do think of them as a Super Bowl contender. But I think when you look under the hood, are they? I mean, what really on the resume leads me to believe that this is the best team in football? Are they capable? Sure. There's a lot of high-end talent, and the 9 teams left are very close, obviously, but I don't know. I think maybe we've just talked ourselves into the Rams being great before they're great. And I don't know necessarily that look, Arizona blasted these guys in L.A. I mean, it was a long time ago, but it was 37-20. And I can see it happening again. I think Arizona has that high-end talent. It's just been kind of a few weeks since we've really seen it other than that Dallas game.
Frank Schwab on tonight, NFL Playoffs, yahoosports.com. Find him on Twitter at Yahoo Schwab. So I'll go Rams. I just went money line. I went Rams money line. Let's go back to the weekend. Josh Allen, unbelievable. Maybe the best postseason performance stat-wise we've ever seen. What should we be saying about Josh Allen today?
I mean, unbelievable. Like, a lot of times this season I've been saying about the Bills, who I picked to win a Super Bowl, I was saying, they just left me wanting more. It was like, all right, well, yeah, you're not bad, but you're definitely not great. Not the team we thought you'd be, losing to the Jaguars or, barely beating the Jets even in Week 18. But on Saturday night, it was like, okay, now that's the Bills team I expected to see. That's their upside. And for them to go out and score touchdowns on the first 7 drives of the game, and then, the clock runs out on the 8th drive, unbelievable. We've never seen that before. Even in a regular season game, we've never seen that before. First time in NFL history, a team has never punted, turned it over, or not made it on a 4th down. And that came against a really good Patriots defense. I don't really think of the Patriots any less than I did before that game. I just think that the Bills brought out the blowtorch and just had an unbelievable night. It's going to be interesting to see if they can continue that, if this was a team that, I think when we do this in all sports where we're just like, oh, they're going to turn it on in the playoffs, that's just kind of a easy excuse for disappointing teams. We use it all the time, and it rarely happens, but maybe there's one of those instances where they are going to turn it on in the playoffs, and this is just the Bills we're going to see. I mean, just an absolutely fascinating matchup with them and the Chiefs coming up on Sunday.
How much of a debate is this, Frank? And I think it's probably for most people, they say, oh, it's not that big of a debate. But when I look at running ability and when he's on, who do you want Sunday night, Allen or Mahomes? I think it's a debate.
I don't. I think it's Mahomes all day. I really do. I think Mahomes is going to go down as maybe the greatest quarterback of all time. I mean, it's going to be tough to catch Brady resume-wise, but I mean, the things he can do are unbelievable. Whereas Josh was up and down this year. Let's look, when he's good, he's really good, and you're right. The running ability is special, and that brings another element, and he's put so much of that offense on his back. But if I'm picking one guy, it's Mahomes. I mean, I just think the track record is there. But here, hey, look, this is Josh's chance. I mean, if he goes in there and throws 4 or 5 touchdowns, and they win this game convincingly. I mean, yeah, then all of a sudden Josh Allen becomes, in that conversation of who's the best quarterback in the NFL.
Let me ask you about the Buccaneers. I want to know what you think, how the Bucs look. They look maybe like last year. What do you think of the Bucs?
Yeah, pretty good. I mean, I keep expecting them to feel the effects of losing Godwin, losing Antonio Brown, losing Leonard Fournette, who might be back this week. It just doesn't happen. They're just one of those teams that's so well coached, and the Brady factor, that it just doesn't seem to matter who's playing with Brady. It's just stick this guy in, he's going to produce. Replace this guy and that guy, and they're still going to put 31 easy points on the Eagles. That was never a game. I mean, you could tell in the first 5 minutes, it's like, okay, Buccaneers are going to win this easily. I mean, that's just kind of the way that went. Clearly capable of repeating. A very, very good football team. I still am going to have some skepticism over it all and think that at some point you're going to miss Chris Godwin as a top 10 receiver in this league, and Antonio Brown is a future Hall of Famer. But it hasn't happened yet, so maybe they're just going to just keep rolling all the way to another Super Bowl.
Frank Schwab on Couple More. I'll let him run. NFL Playoffs, yahoosports.com. His work there on Twitter at Yahoo Schwab. Cowboys, so a couple here. Who should be getting the most questions here about the performance? Dak Prescott or Mike McCarthy?
I think McCarthy. I mean, and maybe that's just a default because we've kind of been on him for a long time and not getting the most out of Aaron Rodgers. And then, this disappointment here. I don't think Dak played well. I mean, he had a few moments, but you got to play better. I mean, if you got all those guys around you, sometimes you got to carry your team through when it has a tough start. But I think this one, I mean, there are a few mistakes in there that just are on McCarthy. And, I mean, all the way from, Ezekiel Elliott comes out today and says he's been playing with a partially torn PCL or sprained PCL, whatever you want to call it. Well, the Cowboys knew that. I mean, what's he doing playing? What are you doing giving him more carries than Tony Pollard? We've all known that. What are you doing leaving the punt team out there after you get a fake punt on 4th down? What's the point of that? What's the run at the end? We can discuss the referees all we want, but what are you doing running in the middle of the field 14 seconds left when you know that that's so risky? So I know there's just a lot of mistakes, and then just the overall breakdown of having 14 penalties, that's on the head coach too. So, yeah, it was not Mike McCarthy's best hour for sure.
What did you think of that quote, McCarthy, talking to the analytics guys? That's the play they recommended, so we went with it. Well, what's the story?
I mean, I've tried to look at it as, open-mindedly and say, okay, what's he trying? Okay, now, he does make a point that if you pick up 10, 15 yards, all of a sudden he can run 5 verticals instead of a Hail Mary. It's a different play. It's got better success chance. When you're from the 40 or the 25, it's clear there is some benefit to that. But as a head coach, it's on you. It doesn't matter. Analytics guys can suggest a punt. It doesn't mean you got to do it. You're the coach. You're the one calling the plays. You're the one whose record is on the line. You're the one the TV keeps showing. And it's his choice at the end of the day, and he chose a play that you need everything to go right. When you're going to run the ball 14 seconds left to try to get yourself in better position to throw it to the end zone, everything needed to line up, and it didn't. The umpire was a little late. He ran into Dak. They didn't give him the ball to spot it. The center tried to do it himself, which everybody on the field should have known he can't do, and that's a risk you took, and it didn't work out for you.
Okay, I want to get your read on McCarthy moving forward with the Cowboys. He stays there, right? For now.
Oh, yeah. I don't think there's any question about that. Look, I mean, if you look at Jerry Jones, I don't know why people kind of think of Jerry Jones as one of these impulsive owners who just changes coaches. It's anything but. He kept Jason Garrett around like 4 years too long.
Right,
he's not a guy who changes coaches easily. And it's not like Cowboys were an abject failure this year. I mean, they didn't get to where they wanted to go, and Sunday was a really disappointing loss, but I don't think that's the kind of thing you fire your head coach over.
And the 49ers, what do you think of them, Frank, moving forward?
Really good football team. Look, they kind of snuck up on people because the one high-profile game they've had lately was the Titans on a Thursday night, and everybody made fun of Jimmy Garoppolo and the interceptions. At the end of the day, they lost that game on the road by 3 points of the number 1 seed in the AFC, and they're 8-2 in their last 10 games. They've been really, really good. They can run the ball. They can rush a passer. They have playmakers on offense, Deebo Samuel, Kittle, even Brandon Ayuk. They got enough. And I don't know that they're going to go to Lambeau Field and win, but I can't rule them out either. This is not a David Goliath type of deal. They could go in there and win. They're doing everything well right now. They're a really good football team. They're sound in a lot of areas you like to lean on in the postseason. And it didn't look. I picked San Francisco to win that game. I thought they were going to beat Dallas. I don't know that they could pull it off again, but I can't sit here and tell you they won't, because it's a lot better football team than people realize.
Really interesting number there. Is it Packers 5.5? Is that what I saw?
Yeah, I was shocked. I thought it was going to be more like 3.5. I think these teams are pretty evenly matched. I'm not saying, the backlash about the Packers is a little much to me. Like, people want to say, like, oh, they're not as good as they because of advanced stats, and Football Outsiders DVOA has them like 9th and all that kind of stuff. So people kind of try to discount the Packers a little bit. No, they're really, really good. I get that. And the home field advantage is legit. I mean, I'm from Wisconsin. I know how cold it is there. I mean, it is a tough place to play in January, but it's just a lot of respect I have for the 49ers, what they've been able to do the last couple months.
Yeah, I thought that number was pretty high. Frank Schwab tonight, yahoosports.com, NFL betting. It's all there on Twitter at Yahoo Schwab. Frank, thanks for the time. Always appreciate it.
Yep, absolutely appreciate it.
Thanks a lot. Frank Schwab tonight, The Nate Brown Show, Fox Sports Rapid City. There he is, Yahoo Sports NFL writer, Yahoo Sports National NFL writer, Yahoo Schwab on Twitter. One of the best NFL guys we talked to. Really good stuff. So he picked the 49ers yesterday, got it. And he was kind of waffling. He doesn't know about Cardinals Rams tonight. I don't know about that number. Rams were 4-point favorites. Now it's gone to 3-point favorites. People liking the Cardinals play there. I'm going to stick with Rams, but just to win. It's dicey. It's dicey. So I'll go Rams money line just to win. So you look at the rest of these games left. 49ers-Packers is going to be great to me. That's going to be really good Saturday. Packers are 5.5-point favorites. I think that's too high. I think that's too high just on the surface looking at it. I think the 49ers are going to go in there and get beat by more than a touchdown. You think that's right? I guess you got the Jimmy G factor. You just never know with Jimmy G. Sometimes, hey, he had that game in control, and then all of a sudden you let the Cowboys back in it. I mean, they were one fumble away, a close one. It was a little incomplete pass instead. They were almost a fumble away of giving that game away after the Jimmy G interception as well. So maybe that's the factor. It's just Aaron Rodgers against Jimmy G. You look at it that way, 5.5-point favorites. It seems like that one's going to be really tight Saturday. Then, of course, you have the Chiefs and the Bills. I said that's the showdown Sunday night. Sunday night showdown. Is it a debate at all? Is it a debate at all? When you look at the big picture, athleticism, arm strength, okay, running ability, is it a debate at all? Josh Allen at his best or Patrick Mahomes? Is that a debate at all? I'm going to say it is. I'm going to say it is when Josh Allen's at his best, because we've seen Mahomes this year falter a little bit as well. People kind of forget Showtime Mahomes is unbelievable. I mean, he's a guy that's going to, everybody said he's just going to keep tallying up Super Bowls. I don't think that's necessarily the case. It's very, very tough, and the Chiefs are rolling again, but I'm not so sure it's a easy debate of, oh, yeah, I for sure want Mahomes here on Sunday night. I for sure want Mahomes. I love Allen's competitive fire. The fire, the athleticism, the running ability, just a gamer. If there's anybody that can go up against him Sunday night, it's Josh Allen, I will tell you. I'm going to ask you this question of the day as we get started on the Nate Brown Show this Monday, Martin Luther King Jr. Day. I want to ask you this question of the day. Fun one here, okay? You humor me on this. Let's have a little fun. Who is the most annoying team left in the NFL playoffs? Who? Because you got to have teams to root against, right? My team's out. The Broncos they've been out for years now. Imagine that. So who's the most annoying team left in the NFL playoffs? I think a lot of you were maybe going to the Cowboys yesterday. Well, they're gone. They're gone. A lot of Vikings fans here on Fox Sports Rapid City. So I would assume some Packers votes coming in. I would assume some Packers votes. So I'll ask you that. Let's throw out the Twitter poll. Let's throw out the poll to the audience. Barron's Wilson text line, 720-1067. Also in the Boss Pizzeria Sports Bar Sports Line live connection to the studio, 720-1067. most annoying team left in the playoffs is, I'm going to go three options. I really think these are the three. Packers, Aaron Rodgers, and we know the story, okay? Aaron's not, I mean, he's a guy that you want to see Aaron and the Packers get beat. I'm sorry, Packers fans. You want to see it. The Chiefs are, that annoyance level for me is very high. Very, very high. The dancing, the bow and arrow shooting, it's everything's a little Showtime, cute stuff. A lot of cute stuff with the Chiefs when they score, and a lot of cutesy stuff. It's just so nice. The Chiefs or the Buccaneers. Okay? The only reason I'll throw the Bucs in there, well, they won it. The Tom Brady factor, you love him or you really don't. It's like Jimmy Walker last week from Good Times came on the show. He said, Tom Brady, it's enough. We're done with Tom. So I have to throw Tom and the Bucs in there, okay? That's my three teams. I don't think there's really Bengals, not what are you going to say about them? What are you going to say? 49ers, Bills, well, my boy. I mean, how can you not like Josh Allen? And the Bills, the gamers, right? The gamers. Most annoying team left in the NFL playoffs is who? Chiefs, Bucks, Pack. Okay? You tell me. Chiefs, Buccaneers, Packers. We will answer that question with your votes and take a look at what the folks say next.
You're listening to The Nate Brown Show. Remember to follow us on Twitter at Nate Brown Show and like us on Facebook by searching Fox Sports Rapid City.
Are new windows from Renewal by Andersen a great investment? You're darn right they are. Did you know that for less than your cable bill or cell phone bill each month, you could have new windows from Renewal by Andersen right now? Do the math. Renewal by Andersen windows will likely cut your energy bills significantly. They will likely substantially increase the value of your home. They're a great investment. Please contact our team now and ask about our fantastic financing options with approved credit right now. Renewal by Andersen, a great investment? You're darn right.
Hi, this is Britt Wickett at Elevate Performance. If you have an athlete in your family that is looking for sports training with proven results, Elevate Performance is ready to work with you. Our approach is different. We train one-on-one or in a small group, keeping the focus on your athlete, getting them to perform at their best. If your child is in middle school or high school, we have plenty of training options to fit your schedule. Take your game to the next level with Elevate Performance. To get your training started, visit elevateperformancesd.com.
All right, guys, if you need a haircut, the one place I go every time is the Man Salon. And there's a reason for it. They just do the best job. You get a great haircut with your personal stylist. I can watch a game or whatever I want in my own station. Then I get shampoo, hot towel, shoulder massage, all at a great price at the Man Salon. 2 convenient locations for you at Rushmore Crossing and on West Main. The Man Salon offers a military discount for active and retired military. For your next appointment, just book at themansalon.net.
Listen to what your friends and neighbors are saying about Anytime Auto Sales Service and Detail. Steve Borkert, Rapid City.
Been using Anytime Auto now for several years, actually. Heard their ads on the radio and thought I'd try them out. Turns out that it was one of the best decisions I've ever made. Came in for an oil change. Oil change was done easily and quickly. My son has had his oil changes done here also, but he also had shocks and struts put on. Great pricing, great work. I've had new tires put on, and I got to tell you, the tires are amazing. And the pricing here is as good, if not better, than any place you're going to find in Rapid City. And again, everybody is very friendly and courteous and is above and beyond. We'll never take our vehicles anyplace else but Anytime Auto Sales.
There you have it. For the best in automotive sales and service, see Anytime Auto Sales Service and Detail. Corner of Highway 79 in East Minnesota.
Anytime Auto Sales.
When it comes to protecting your home and your belongings, what works for your neighbor most likely won't work for you. Insurance is personal, and that's why the coverage specialists at Fisher Rounds and Associates work with you to tailor a policy that protects your family, home, auto, and other valuable possessions at the most reasonable cost possible. We sweat the small and the big stuff, so you don't have to. That's at your service, at your side. Fisher Rounds and Associates, with offices in Pierre, Mitchell, Rapid City, Sioux Falls, and Watertown.
Here at Pizza Ranch, we love the unique ways other countries compliment their chefs. In France, they say magnifique. In Italy, delizioso. And in many parts of the world, it's a compliment to belch. Don't try that at home, kids. But at Pizza Ranch, we keep hearing the same thing over and over again when guests bite into our pizza. Mmm. Our famous chicken. Mmm. And all the favorites on our buffet. Mmm. We're beginning to think you're all trying to tell us something. We'll take that as a compliment. Pizza Ranch. Mmm.
Broadcasting from the Anytime Auto Sales, Service, and Detail Studio. Sales, service, and side-by-sides. This is Fox Sports Rapid.
And we're back, the Nate Brown Show, South Dakota Sports Talk Show, back on a Monday. Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Hope you're enjoying your day. It's 50s here in the Black Hills. We'll take that. It's January 17th. We'll take it. I saw a couple of folks out there golfing today. That'll work. See, we get some pretty good breaks. Remember that when it gets chilly out there, all right? Pat Donovan's coming up. We'll talk Buccaneers and more. WDAE Tampa Bay talking NFL playoffs. Pat Donovan on tap. Brad Spielberger's live, NFL analyst, PFF.com. He's coming up. Pro Football Focus breaking things down. It's a busy reaction Monday, and I'll tell you, there's 8 candidates now for the Vikings general manager position, and this guy did a great breakdown on each one, kind of walking you through it. He hasn't been on the show. We had to get him on the show here on the Nate Brown Show. It's Luke Braun. You should follow him on Twitter at Luke Braun NFL. Luke Braun NFL. Writes for ZoneCoverage.com, has the Locked On Vikings podcast, and he's here live on Fox Sports Rapid City. Luke, it's good to get you. How are you?
Hey, doing good, Nate. Thanks for having me.
Well, I appreciate your time. It's an interesting time for the Vikings right now. Before we get into this, the general manager, the head coaching interviews, they just interviewed Nathaniel Hackett here, Green Bay's offensive coordinator. I want to get into some of the I don't want to call it fallout per se, but more the reaction from Mike Zimmer's tenure, and especially here later in this football season. Some reporting coming out that, you're saying, hey, dealt the wrong hand here. We had the injury to Teddy Bridgewater, and we had this go wrong and that go wrong. And what do you make of kind of how Mike Zimmer exited here with some of the players kind of talking about things lately as well?
Yeah, it's hard to know. All we know is what Ben Gessling has told us in the Star Tribune. He's done a lot of excellent reporting. Courtney Cronin's done a lot of excellent reporting. Matthew Collar. All we really know is what they've been able to divulge to us. But yeah, it sounds like it got pretty toxic down the stretch there. And I think I don't know what came first, the chicken or the egg, whether that toxicity led the Wilfs to say, okay, you kind of have to make the playoffs or we're going to get rid of you. Or if the idea that you're going to have to make the playoffs this year or it's going to be over is what led to that toxicity. But either way, when that becomes the dynamic, it's got to go. I think the decision, I don't know. I think the decision of playoffs or fire, it seems like that had been made well before, the Rams game or the Packers game when the Vikings were really eliminated from the playoffs. It seems like that was kind of going to be the deciding factor. And then, once it became official, or the writing was like on the wall, and it seemed like, the Vikings really aren't making the playoffs or officially mathematically eliminated. Then it kind of went, okay, everybody knows what the story is here. And I think once you're a dead man walking and you still have to show up to work, I guess you didn't handle that very well, huh?
Yeah, it's interesting. So what type of coach do NFL teams need, Luke? Because I say this, Mike Zimmer's an old school guy. There are old school guys left, but there's a lot of new school guys, meaning you talk to the players this way and you involve them that way. Is that the type of coach that you need to have?
Sure. I think, there's a lot, the way I always say this, there's a bunch of ways to skin a cat. I think there's a lot of ways to do this. Bruce Arians is as old school gets.
Yeah.
And he is currently defending a championship. And then you get somebody like Matt LaFleur, who's a little more new school. Sean McVay, a little more new school. All these coaches, Kyle Shanahan and stuff. There's a lot of different ways to do it. So I say, look, whatever you're going to do, execute it properly, and I think you can make a team out of that, but you have to do it with focus, which is why I've always been asking for Give me someone with a focused plan. And, I think somebody that can establish relationships with the players is extremely important. Your players can't hate the coach. But in a case of like a Bruce Arians, or honestly Mike Zimmer for a long, long time, until he totally broke this and totally failed at it, but for the first, 6-7 years of his tenure, he had great relationships with his players, even though he would light them up, that you kind of knew that he respected you. He lost that, and I think that's a big reason why he's no longer the coach of the Minnesota Vikings. But there's a way to do it, but there's a lot of different leadership styles. And I think, if you could build a coach in a lab, I'm sure you would pick one or the other. But yeah, a lot of different ways to do it.
Yeah, I got you on that. Locked On Vikings podcast is his. Luke Braun on ZoneCoverage.com. His piece on the 8 general manager candidates and kind of a breakdown of each for the Vikings is up there. ZoneCoverage.com. I took a look at that. One more on the coaching situation. They interviewed Nathaniel Hackett. Nate Hackett, offensive coordinator for the Packers. Here's the trend, I guess, usually. Well, we had a defensive guy, so now we better go an offensive guy because that's what the fans want. Well, what do you think really should happen?
So personally, I could not care less what side of the ball the guy came up on. Offense, defense, special teams, whatever. Show me what kind of leader you're going to be. Show me what kind of team he's going to try to build, because defensive guys are going to have to build an offense. And whether that means hiring the right people to do it for them or applying their own idea of what a defense should be or what an offense should be. Either way, they're going to have an offense, and that's going to have to be good. And an offensive guy's going to have to build a defense. That is an unalienable thing. So I don't care which side of the ball you're coming up on. You're going to have to pay attention to both sides of the ball. So I want to know who can handle that or who has handled that well before or whatever. With Nathaniel Hackett in particular, I have no idea what kind of defense he's going to want to do. He's got a lot of energy. He's definitely he gives me a weird PJ Fleck vibe to use a Minnesota coach. But I don't know. I mean, he's got all the respect in the world from Aaron Rodgers and in Green Bay, and he's got a pretty good resume. So yeah, maybe. I haven't looked as deep into the head coaching candidates as I have into the GM candidates. So.
Let's look at it. So when you go for a GM, this is what fans don't know much about. We don't know these guys, these gals in some cases. We don't know these people. And so we got to try and figure out what have they done, where have they been. There's 8 candidates here, and it's Browns, Eagles, another one of the Browns, Chiefs, Titans, Buccaneers, Patriots. You got a piece up there. How wide-ranging are these candidates?
They have a very diverse skill set. It's kind of difficult to figure out exactly what the Wilfs are looking for, but we do have a few patterns. They're all very young. I think the oldest one is 42 or 43. They all seem to be of that new school ilk, I guess. So they're definitely looking for a fresh take. They're not looking for somebody with 35 years of experience that's done it the same way since the 80s. No, we're looking for a young person. A lot of these candidates have a very favorable view of analytics. We're looking for an analytics base. We're not looking for a Dave Gettleman gut feeling kind of guy. There's that, but we've got people who are on the pro scouting side, like scouting for free agents. We got people on the college scouting side for the draft. We have people who've done contracts, people who've done a little bit of all of it. So yeah, it doesn't seem like they have a preference for that particular, background, and instead they're looking for the person who will maybe be the best at managing all of it.
I'm wondering, how do we know how to choose a general manager? I mean, I think it's going to be one of the most difficult things. They're Italian evaluators, and they have other duties there. How do we know how to choose the right person?
If you're the Wilfs and you have access to these people, it's how do you know how to hire anybody at any job? You interview them, you do your best. For us as lay people on the outside, we can look up where they were, what sorts of responsibilities they had there, how those responsibilities went. Look at, Brandon Brown, for example. He was director of pro scouting for the Eagles for a couple of years. Over those couple of years, they got guys like Javon Hargrave. The Eagles have had this reputation as major free agency players for a long time. Or like Glenn Cook is another one that will be interviewed this week. He was the director of player personnel, vice president of player personnel in Cleveland, and he came from the pro scouting side as well. So he did a lot of free agency work, and they were very aggressive in free agency. It's Cleveland. These are the 2018, this is a team going out and getting Sheldon Richardson and Jadeveon Clowney and all these trading for Odell Beckham, all that stuff. That was Glenn Cook was in those rooms being part of that discussion. And then the more power he got, the more aggressive the Browns got. So I would guess Glenn Cook is going to be a very aggressive person in terms of pursuing veteran players in free agency or trade. If you like that, awesome. You're going to love Glenn Cook. Me, I'm not a huge fan of that. I don't think free agency is the place to build a team. I think you end up with a lot more Giants and Jaguars than you do, crazy good Rams teams. But it kind of depends on what you like there. So we can look and see, well, what is their philosophy, and do we agree with it? And I think you're going to get a wide range of opinions from everybody you ask. That's kind of the beauty of it. Everybody has, what did you not like about the Vikings? There's probably a candidate somewhere in here that addresses that problem for you.
Talking Vikings general manager candidates, he's got the 8 candidates up there. Some good coverage on it. Luke Braun on today, zonecoverage.com. His piece on there, I encourage you to take a look. He's got his podcast, Locked on Vikings. So a couple of big things. One is, for the new GM, whoever gets this, first one is, what do you do, Luke, with Kirk Cousins? What do you do?
What do I do, or what do they do?
Yeah, what do you do?
Those might be different questions.
Both.
Okay. Me, I'm looking to get him on the first bus out of town. I've never been a big fan of Kirk Cousins since before he signed. In February 2018, when it was first rumored, I went, I'm not big on it. I did more research. I remained not big on it. I watched him for 4 years. I'm still not big on it. There are just deficiencies in the way that he approaches the game that he's not going to grow past it because he doesn't want to. In the way that he approaches risk management and the way that he approaches, improvisational situations, he just doesn't prepare for them, and he doesn't think he should have to because he wants to save his mental bandwidth for other things. And he thinks that makes him good enough, but it makes him 500 every year. I'm done with it. So I'm looking to get him on the first bus out of town. I'll trade him. The way I understand the way the league looks at Kirk Cousins is that you can trade him without having to Brock Osweiler it. So I'm not doing any of that. Maybe you eat some of the contract if you want a higher draft pick. Sure, whatever, we'll negotiate that. But I would trade Kirk Cousins, try to get him out of town, see if I can't get a bridge quarterback in, somebody that just papers you over for the next couple of years, a Tyrod Taylor, like the way the Bills did it, while I go draft my Josh Allen and build around him.
Okay, so Vikings fans, your approach is we got to kind of have to see how we can do this. It's not a total rebuild, but there is a rebuild for the new GM.
I don't think that there's a way. I know Mark Wills said, no, we're not rebuilding. I think that was lip service. I don't think there's a way that you can make 2022 anything but a rebuilding year outside of having some sort of miracle quarterback thing where you get some crazy good rookie quarterback that's way better than everybody expects, some Russell Wilson thing. I don't see it. The closest I think you can get would be keeping Kirk Cousins, retooling, and trying to go 9-8 again. But I don't think anybody wants that.
Yeah, been there, done that. Luke Braun on tonight. Good to get him. ZoneCoverage.com, the piece on the 8 general manager candidates that are coming in. The Vikings have requested to interview for the GM. ZoneCoverage.com. Follow him on Twitter at Luke Braun NFL. And the podcast is Locked on Vikings. Good stuff, Luke. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, anytime, Nate.
I appreciate it. Luke Braun tonight on the Nate Brown Show on Fox Sports Rapid City. Locked on Vikings. His podcast really good, and ZoneCoverage.com has worked there as well on the 8 general manager candidates. Find him on Twitter at Luke Braun NFL. Yeah, they go to various teams here. Browns, taking a look at a couple of people from the Browns, taking a look at a couple of people from the Eagles. They went to the Titans, the Chiefs, the Buccaneers, and the Patriots. So you can take a look for yourself. We're not going to run through every single person here, but a lot of people, hey, that's the key one here. Vikings have to get a GM before they can even get a coach, right? You got to have the GM, and then we can walk through this coaching situation. So I would expect things would be moving pretty quickly. I would expect things moving pretty quickly on the Vikings general manager situation, and it's very hard to know. I mean, the Broncos just hired one. We had John Elway. We know how that went early on and then later. And then they hired George Payton, and all we knew is, well, he was with Rick Spielman of the Vikings, and here's what he did in the draft. Here's what he helped with. We don't know if George Payton's a good general manager for the Broncos. I have no idea. No clue. And his first big decision was drafting a cornerback, Patrick Surtain, over a quarterback this past NFL draft. So there's one big decision, and now the other big one is getting rid of Vic Fangio, and who's he going to hire next? So these are the things that shape a general manager. What is it? Quarterbacks and coaches, okay? And then the draft, yeah, you're going to have some hits and misses. Everybody. Rick Spielman of the Vikings hit on a lot of players in the draft, and he missed on a lot. It happens. So there's a really hard way. Well, this is a great GM, and okay, to be a great GM, you got to have that track record. You usually have a pretty darn good quarterback and a pretty darn good coach. You know, those are the biggies. So we don't know who the Vikings bring in. Well, how good's this person going to be? Here's what they did with the Eagles or the Browns or the Titans or the Patriots. We just don't know, but it's interesting to see the list of names that are out there. I'd encourage you to check it out. 8 candidates for the Vikings GM job getting interviewed. ZoneCoverage.com with Luke Braun on today. Let's go to the NFL playoffs and the Buccaneers, okay? Are the Buccaneers kind of right where they were last year? Nobody talking a bunch about them, and then they just torched the Eagles, and the defense played really well. Jalen Hurts was lost. The Buccaneers, are they a team in the NFC that nobody is remembering? And they have Tom Brady on top of it. Pat Donovan also on the Antonio Brown fallout. He said Tom Brady only needed him as a wide receiver. Now he says something different about Tom Brady today. Oh, Antonio. Pat Donovan covers the Buccaneers. WDAE in Tampa, live next.
From high school to college to the pros, this is the Nate Brown Show on 106.7 FM and 1150 AM Fox Sports Rapid City.
Hello, this is Robbie at Bargain Barn Tire Pros. At Bargain Barn Tire Pros, we are what we like to call your one-stop vehicle shop. Some of you don't realize that we're more than just a tire shop. We are a full-service center. We do brakes, shocks, alignments, and we also do exhaust. So if your vehicle is loud or making a squeak, call the pros at Tire Pros. 1610 Campbell Street, 1811 Deadwood Avenue, or look us up on the web at bargainbarntire.com.
Whether you run the race, make the catch, cast a line, pitch a tent, or just look good doing it, Shields Rapid City has your gear. From athletic clothing from your favorite team, cold weather gear to keep you warm, to the best camping selection this side of the Black Hills, and the most stylish and functional women's outerwear and footwear. Shields has the widest selection of the best brands in the business. So when you're ready to get out, get in the game, or get going, get to Shields. Shields, we're right there with you at Rushmore Crossing in Rapid City.
Hi, I'm Dave Dolan, and I'm a member of the Rapid City Sports Officials. I'd like to invite you to become a member of this great group of men and women. We meet once a month, and our number one objective is to support Rapid City athletic events. If you become a member, you'll also get to vote for the High School Athletes of the Year, and you'll receive free admission to the annual Sports Hall of Fame and Recognition Banquet. For more information on becoming a member of the Rapid City Sports Officials, contact Dwayne Whalen at 605-343-6598.
Get away from it all in the great outdoors for lasting family memories with a new or pre-owned RV from Dakota Discount RV. We make your RV experience fun and easy by providing you with a quality recreational vehicle, competitive pricing, and professional sales and service. Our large inventory of fifth-wheelers, travel trailers, toy haulers, and live-in horse trailers allows us to save our customers thousands of dollars compared to most dealers. Stop by and see us at Dakota Discount RV, 3330 East Mall Drive across from Cabela's and on JB Road, Blackhawk.
Broadcasting from the Anytime Auto Sales, Service and Detail Studio. Sales, service, and side-by-sides. This is Fox Sports Rapid City.
Hey, welcome back in the Nate Brown Show live, South Dakota Sports Talk Show on this very important Martin Luther King Jr. Day, Monday. Hope you had the day off. Hope you're enjoying this special day, and thanks for being a part of the program. We're live on Fox Sports Rapid City. Coming up, Brad Spielberger, NFL analyst, PFF.com. We'll break down the NFL playoffs divisional round. I think it's going to be really good. Wild card weekend, a little dicey. People are complaining about the extra playoff team and the blowouts and the whole thing. It's like, it wasn't a great wild card weekend, that's for sure. I think tonight's game's going to be good. I'll go Rams, their money line. Just Rams money line, I picked that. I don't feel too confident Rams are 3-point favorites tonight. Question of the day on the Nate Brown Show before I invite in our next guest. He's in Tampa. He covers the world champion Buccaneers. But I just wanted to ask you all, you got to have somebody to root against. Are you rooting against the Bucs and Tom Brady? You don't want them to win again? Or who's the most annoying team left in the playoffs right now? Question of the day, 720-1067 on the Barons-Wilson text line. A lot of votes coming in. We have a clear winner. The most annoying team left in the playoffs right now is 49% of you say the Packers. 26% of you say the Chiefs. And then the Bucs coming in right behind the Chiefs. Interesting. Pat Donovan's on WDAE Tampa. Pat and Aaron Show, and find him on Twitter at Pat Donovan Radio. Let's talk Buccaneers NFL playoffs. Pat, thanks for the time. How are you?
I'm well, but what's annoying about the Chiefs? I feel like they're pretty as good as they are. I feel like they're pretty likable, right? I get it with the Packers. Aaron Rodgers seems like a jerk.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what's annoying about the Chiefs.
I think same story that people might be voting for your Buccaneers. I mean, they just win and they dance and they get cute and that whole thing. I'm a Broncos fan, Pat, so don't get me started on the Chiefs, okay? Don't get me started. Let me ask you, though. Let's go to the Buccaneers. I just said this before I invited you on to the audience. I said, well, last year, nobody was talking about the Bucs. They really weren't. They went on the run, went into Green Bay, went on to win the whole thing. It feels that way to me again. Not that nobody's talking about them, but it feels like the Buccaneers, there they are. Are they really, really good again, Pat?
Well, they're pretty good, and they could be really, really good if they were healthy. But the reality is they're not, and they haven't been for much of this season. And I'm never going to rule out a team led by Tom Brady because, as Bruce Arians says, once he figures out your defense, you're in trouble. But it's going to be a much more difficult task this year than it was a year ago. And when you think about all the obstacles they had a year ago, first year for Tom Brady, first year in a new system, first year in a new city, his parents had COVID, he had the knee injury. Despite all those things, this year would actually be a tougher feat for them to pull it off because of the litany of injuries they're dealing with.
Okay, Godwin, that's a big miss. And now, how about that O-line? I'm not up to speed on that O-line. Center gets hurt. And then Wirfs gets hurt. What are we worried about there?
Yeah, an offensive line that's been one of the best offensive lines in football the last couple of years, and a big part of the reason why they've had the success that they've had. And Tristan Wirfs, first team All-Pro in his second year in the league. You just don't see young offensive linemen come into the NFL and have the kind of consistency that Tristan Wirfs has had. I'm lined up against some very good pass rushers, almost has never given up a sack. He's given up a couple in his career in 2 years. He doesn't commit penalties. The kid has just been so good and so consistent. And if he's not out there on Sunday, it's a massive loss. Now, Ryan Jensen came out of the game, like you mentioned as well, on Sunday. Jensen came back and played the duration of the game. I'd be very surprised if he's not on the field Sunday, but much, much more iffy for Tristan Wirfs with that ankle injury, which today was in a boot, but they're not ruling him out for Sunday.
Pat Donovan on WDAE Tampa. They talk Buccaneers and more, talking NFL playoffs. So I look at it and say the Buccaneers just dismantled the Eagles. How good's this defense here? The defense is what won it for them last year, Pat. You know that. How good's the defense?
Yeah, and again, it can be very good, and it's a little bit inconsistent, but I think, Nate, and you kind of know this, right? This is today's NFL. There are no more dominant defenses. I think the way the game is set up, the rules and everything else, it doesn't lend to having dominant defenses. And I don't truly believe that there is one in the NFL. And the Bucs, like a lot of teams, they're kind of feast or famine, right? They're going to bend and from time to time break, but as long as they can bend and create some turnovers, they can keep the team in games. And yesterday you kind of saw what I kind of expected. I didn't expect the game to be as dominant as it was, but with the return of Jason Pierre-Paul and the return of Shaq Barrett and the return of Levante David to this defense, I knew the energy would be high because whenever you get back players that are that important. And in Jason Pierre-Paul's instance, it provides that kind of energy. I had a feeling we'd see the defense flying around yesterday, especially against an Eagles team that really was a good matchup for this defense because they're good against the run, and that's what the Eagles do.
I want to look at it here. Rams, Cardinals tonight. Who would you want to play?
You know, it's interesting because I almost go back and forth. I think both teams are banged up just like the Buccaneers are, so that's going to lend itself to, you know, making it an interesting matchup regardless of who it is. And there are things that worry me about Kyler Murray, but then I say, look, down the stretch, you know, a lot of times that team and that quarterback, they're not performing, and they're not going to have, of course, DeAndre Hopkins until, I guess, the NFC Championship game at the earliest, so they wouldn't have him, it sounds like, for next weekend if it were to be the Arizona Cardinals. So at the same time, you know, we just talked about a banged-up offensive line. Do I really want to be looking at Aaron Donald if my starting center is not 100%? The answer is no. So I think part of me wants to see Arizona, and then the other part of me thinks, gee, the Los Angeles Rams just brought Eric Weddle out of retirement after 2 years. That's the kind of injuries they have in their secondary. And wouldn't Tom Brady, if he can have the time, pick that secondary apart, even with Jalen Ramsey out there? I think the answer is probably yes. So both teams could create some very interesting challenges for the Buccaneers, and I think both teams give the Buccaneers some openings to make things happen as well.
I get the feeling that you guys down there don't have quite the Buccaneers have the edge this year. It feels like an underdog story.
Yeah, a little bit, because, again, with all the injuries and all the other just weird stuff that's gone on with Antonio Brown and such, it's been one of those years where even though they won 13 regular season games, which is a franchise record, even though, you know, they scored 30 points every single game at home except for that weird one where they got shut out by New Orleans, even though there's been all these positives, it's been really much more difficult than I think a lot of Buccaneers fans expected, and then it probably would have been, again, if this team had been at 100%.
Okay, so the most annoying team left in the playoffs, Pat Donovan, is?
I think I have to go with Green Bay. And
okay.
I don't even think Green Bay is that annoying. As a franchise, I don't hate Green Bay. I think we all look at Lambeau as kind of the mecca of football. I can't wait to get there one day, right? But there's just something about Aaron Rodgers. It's like, I don't want to root for that guy. The guy doesn't get along with his mom. Who doesn't get along with their mom, Nate?
A little smug. I mean, that's the deal. You know, I can't like Aaron. He's a little smug. And by the way, I'm a Broncos fan, and the Broncos might try and get him. So I don't know what I'm going to do, frankly. I don't know what I'm going to do. By the way, I'll let you
I don't like LeBron James, Nate, but as a Lakers fan, I'll take him.
Okay.
If I'm you. Give me Aaron Rodgers. And you know what? When Tom Brady retires, if Aaron wants to come here, I'll take him, even though I think he's a jerk.
How many more years with Tom Brady, Pat? How many?
100?
Yeah.
I mean, it's listen. I wouldn't be surprised if next year is his last season. I fully expect him to play a season from now. I think whether they win or lose, if they go on to win this Super Bowl, I think the opportunity to have this roster or much of it back and maybe even better next season because of the opportunity they have in the off season with a pretty good amount of salary cap space and then decent draft position, and then they could probably come back with a roster that's as good or not better next season. And I think either the opportunity to maybe three-peat at 45 years old, or if they fall short this year because of the injuries, I think he looks and goes, man, if we were healthy, man, I know we have some money. Let's go do it again next year. So I'd be very surprised if this is his last year. But I think next year you kind of have to expect it. But at the same time, I won't be surprised if we're going 47, 48.
That's nuts.
He doesn't slow down. It's insane.
It is. Pat Donovan tonight, WDAE, the Pat and Aaron Show, Pat Donovan Radio on Twitter, a good follow. We have some Buccaneers fans up here, man. They appreciate you coming on. Thanks for the time.
Anytime, my friend.
All right, appreciate that. Pat Donovan on the Nate Brown Show, Fox Sports Rapid City, talking Tampa Bay Bucks, and they just feel like that team that's sneaky right now. Shouldn't be sneaky with Tom Brady, but got all those guys back on defense. The O-line thing's a problem, potentially. Wirfs, the tackle, really, really good out of Iowa, right? You know that guy. Really, really good. They just feel a little sneaky. Everybody's hooked up. Well, the Packers, that's the team for sure. I mean, you got Tom Brady down here. They were sneaky last year and won the whole thing. It kind of feels that way again to me. WDAE, Pat Donovan on tonight, talking Buccaneers. So I've got a question for you. Question of the day. Well, if you haven't answered here, let's get an update. Who is the most annoying team left in the NFL playoffs for you? Most annoying team. You got to root against them. Most annoying team left in the NFL playoffs is the Chiefs, the Bucks, or the Packers. There are 3 vote getters, the Chiefs, the Bucks, or the Packers. 50% of the audience now saying the Packers. Listener text coming in, 720-1067. Let me find this here. The Barons-Wilson text line, 720-1067 for you. Listener text, it's the Packers, Nate. Aaron Rodgers goes through more diapers than a newborn. He's whining and crying all game. There we go. Some love on this Monday. Let's see. Packers, another vote. Another Packers. It's Aaron Rodgers. Green Bay Packers. A lot of votes here. 50% going Packers. 25% or 26% Chiefs. 24% Buccaneers. So some Tom Brady haters also making their voices known on the Nate Brown Show question of the day. Here's a question I want. Here in the Drive at 5 on this Monday. So there's a youth hockey director, okay? This is a youth hockey director over the weekend. He says, my goal is not to develop these kids into great young men. It's to win trophies. You develop the kids at home. That's a youth hockey director, okay? Just said that this weekend, okay? What is the most important goal of youth sports? I really want to discuss this. What is the most important goal of youth sports? It's a hard question to answer because there's a few options that we're going to discuss live on the way.
You're listening to the only live and local sports talk show in the Black Hills, The Nate Brown Show on FoxSportsRapidCity.com and live on 106.7 FM and 1150 AM Fox Sports Rapid City.
This Tuesday night, the Rapid City Concert Association proudly presents Williams and Ree.
We are Williams and Ree, the Indian and the white guy.
Along with Kenny Putnam. And special guest Jimmy J.J. Walker from Good Time.
Because you got kids and dynamite.
Get tickets at the gate or online at themonument.live. Williams and Ree, Kenny Putnam, and Jimmy J.J. Walker. This Tuesday night at the Monument Fine Arts Theater. Gates open at 6:30. Show starts at 7.
It's Honda's Certified Dream Deal sales event. Up to an additional 2 years, 50,000 miles comprehensive warranty, plus certified Hondas come with 7-year, 100,000-mile powertrain coverage, free oil changes your first year, and 24/7 roadside assistance. Plus at Denny Manholtz Rushmore Honda, we buy cars. Vehicles are in high demand, and due to limited inventory, your vehicle has never been worth more. Stop by Denny Manholtz Rushmore Honda and either sell or trade today. Located off I-90 on East Small Drive in Rapid City.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City. This is the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM. Fox Sports Rapid City.
We're all going somewhere. Going higher, faster, farther. Going in new directions, to new places. At Monument Health, we keep going so you can keep going. We're dedicated to advanced orthopedic care with the latest innovations, technology, expertise, and treatment. So keep exploring, keep making memories, keep going with Monument Health as your partner. Learn more at monument.health/orthopedics.
With so many ways to win, it's easy to see why players choose First Gold Gaming Resort. Every Friday through Sunday, First Gold gives away $8,600 in promo play. Every Saturday night, you can win $1,000 cash on the hour every hour from 6 p.m. till midnight. Join us for First Gold's $2,000 slot tournaments on Friday and Sunday. Plus Deadwood's biggest $12,000 Golden Cash Blast. Saturday, January 29th. First Gold Gaming Resort. We're your first stop on Main Street as you're coming into Deadwood.
Hi, this is Dan Patrick. Remember to catch me weekday mornings from 7 until 10 a.m. right here on 106.7 FM and 1150 a.m. Fox Sports Rapid City. And now, back to Rapid City's sports talk show, The Nate Brown
Welcome back in on this Monday. Hope you had a great day. We're in the drive at 5 for those of you who had to work. Oh, yes, we're here for you. I hope you're enjoying your Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Special day. Thanks for being a part of the program. The Nate Brown Show live, Fox Sports Rapid City. The drive at 5 presented by Summit Automotive Group. SummitAutoGRP.com. Start there before you buy. Get the Summit difference. It's a big difference. Car buying truly built around you. The right vehicle, the right financing. Get it all. SummitAutoGRP.com, the place to stop first. Brad Spielberger's coming up. NFL analyst, PFF.com. We'll break down the wild card weekend of the divisional round coming up. I'm more stoked for these games coming up this next weekend. We have one left tonight. I think it's going to be good. Rams-Cardinals. I do. I take Rams tonight. For what it's worth. I haven't had great luck here. Cowboys the only favorite that, of course, goes down. Leave it to them, huh? Yesterday, Brad Spielberger, PFF.com on the way. Mike Henriksen this hour, calling all sports. South Dakota sports broadcaster Mike Henriksen on tap. So this is interesting. This just came across my radar this morning. And I attended a youth soccer tournament this weekend here in town. Big tournament, 150 teams, a lot of fun. It was good stuff. And I'm always interested in the dynamics of youth sports and the parents, the coaches, the participants, the intensity or too much of the intensity. And this one came across my radar today. This is from a guy in Sioux Falls. And he didn't say which town or anything like this, but he said, he was talking about a youth hockey program. And the director of the youth hockey program said this weekend, my goal isn't to develop these kids into great young men. My goal is to win trophies. Okay? Developing the kids into great young men should be done at home. That's what that program director said of a youth hockey organization. And I first looked at that and said, that's way off. That's way off. The number one goal isn't winning trophies. That's not the most important goal. Is it an aspect of where we're trying to get to if you're coaching youth sports? That's fine. And it should be fine with the parents is, hey, yeah, you're trying to win games. It's important to do your best, give effort, commitment to training and games. I do believe that, but so interesting is there really is that culture of, is there really folks out there that we got to win? I mean, I'm baffled by it. And I see the same type of thing as I coach basketball a little bit. Well, we're going to run this play for this player, and that's it. Why? To win. Well, is it about development? Is it about team? Is it about effort and having players contribute? It's so interesting to me that some of the thought process, I think, as we look at sports these days, all the way from youth all the way to the top, well, we got to win in the youth level like they do at the top. Okay? That's the most important goal. It's win or nothing. It is. I want to be a winner. I'm surprised we have coaches. Well, in this case, it was a director of a youth hockey program. And again, this guy was from Sioux Falls talking to a person. He didn't say which town, but he said he said, my goal is to this. The development of good young kids should be at home, not here at playing hockey. We're playing to win trophies. What is the most important goal of youth sports? I have 3 things that I put up there, and I wanted to see what the audience would say today. When you really think about it, your kids playing or grandkids, wherever you're at, and you watch it, what is the most important goal of youth sports? I'll ask you this. Development of the athlete and winning. Okay, you're developing to win. Just learning the game as you go. Wins are not a factor. Wins are not a factor at all. It's just learning. Or is it youth sports fun and the friendships with the camaraderie? What is the most important goal of youth sports? And it's a really interesting breakdown. We put the poll up earlier today, and it's a really close vote. It's interesting. I thought one might take over totally. And it's a pretty close vote. What do you say today? 720-1067. I'd like to know, what is the most important goal of youth sports? Give me your answer. Development and winning. And I'm not going to tell you that's the wrong answer. Some people are playing, hey, we're playing this level to develop, to get better. We want to win. We want to reach our highest goals. I have a talented athlete, blah, 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 okay? So is it development, winning, just learning, winning's not a factor, or just the fun and the friendships from it? Here's the leading vote getter. 40% say learning the game, win's not a factor in youth sports. 40% say learning's the most important goal of youth sports. Win's not a factor. 37%, it's close, fun and the friendships. And that even kind of says, well, you don't have to take it too serious either. We're out to have fun and have those friendships. That's the most important benefit of it. 37%. And 23% say development and winning in youth sports, the most important goal. 40% learning, 37% the fun, 23% development and winning. And by the way, a little trick question on the Nate Brown Show today. I believe all three can be important. Is that wrong of me to say? That winning can be a good benefit of youth sports done well, and learning how to win and learning how to lose. You don't want to lose all the time, every time, but you got to learn how to win. You got to learn how to lose, right? You got to learn how to play the game. Wins will come along. Wins will come along. And by the way, you're playing to have the fun, to build the friendships and the relationships, okay? All of those things going together. Is that youth hockey program director, my goal isn't to develop these kids into good young men. Well, yes, it is. It is. Well, that should be done at home. It's a partnership. It's kind of how we say, okay, teachers have a role, coaches have a role. These folks that our kids spend a lot of time with, very important that it's not just, this is what we're doing right to win this game, end of story. It should be all three factors. Learning, developing, winning can come along with that. The fun and the friendships. Nobody wants to lose every game, not learn, not develop. It's all in that mix. I just think a lot of people may lose track of, well, this is the most important thing. I'm here to win. You're here to help to provide that support and do the things you need to do at home. We're here to win here. Be careful with that. Listener text coming in. To develop players is the most important, obviously. To develop, winning should be secondary. And I absolutely agree with it. Absolutely agree with that. But a lot of times you'll see it. We're running this play to do this all game long. To do what? Win a third grade basketball tournament. And it's not actually that big a deal. Hopefully we have all of the factors that you're developing a team, developing players, learning, and winning will come along. Not, we're trying to win because we have one really good player. We're going to let that player take control. And boy, we win. Is everybody happy? Not quite. Brad Spielberger's on the way, NFL analyst, one of our new guests here with PFF.com. His take on tonight's game and more on the way.
The Nate Brown Show.
Today on Hey Culligan, reverse to reduce. Here's Bob.
Hey Culligan, I love fresh water, but I got plastic bottles coming out.
Whoa, Bob, you are not kidding about the bottles. But did you know Culligan's reverse osmosis and always-on drinking water systems provide fresh, clean, delicious drinking water and help reduce the equivalent of over 15 billion plastic bottles from landfills worldwide?
Holy, fresh, environmentally friendly drinking water. Am I right?
Right, Bob. And we're already on the way.
Visit BlackHillsCulligan.com. That's BlackHillsCulligan.com.
Are new windows from Renewal by Andersen a great investment? You're darn right they are. Did you know that for less than your cable bill or cell phone bill each month, you could have new windows from Renewal by Andersen right now? Do the math. Renewal by Andersen windows will likely cut your energy bills significantly. They will likely substantially increase the value of your home. They're a great investment. Please contact our team now and ask about our fantastic financing options with approved credit right now. Renewal by Andersen, a great investment? You're darn right.
your finances in the new year by making a plan with Black Hills Federal Credit Union. Access BHFCU's free money management tool in online and mobile banking to bring all your accounts together in one dashboard. Set budgets, track spending, create notifications, and plan future goals. Learn more at bhfcu.com or text or call 605-718-1818. BHFCU is a member-owned, not-for-profit, federally insured by the NCUA.
The doctors and staff at Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center have provided expert bone, joint, and muscle care to patients in the Black Hills area since 1976. Whether you're an elite athlete, a weekend warrior, or just want to continue your active lifestyle, the orthopedic experts at Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center will help you stay in the game. Don't let an injury keep you from doing the things you love. Trust the team at Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center, specializing in what moves you. Learn more at bhosc.com.
In the past, if you needed auto body repair, you had to get multiple estimates and then try to get your car into a shop for repair. Well, not anymore. In most cases, you can stop by one shop, get your estimate, and schedule your car for a repair. The question now becomes which shop you choose. If you like quality, choose J&J Truck and Auto Body. They have ASE, PPG, and Gold iCar certifications that allow them to offer you a nationwide warranty, and they'll work with your insurance company so you're pleased with the outcome. J&J Truck and Auto Body, 1513 East Philadelphia.
Broadcasting from the Anytime Auto Sales, Service, and Detail Studio. Sales, service, and side-by-sides. This is Fox Sports Rapid City.
South Dakota Sports Talk Show, the Nate Brown Show, live on Fox Sports Rapid City. Martin Luther King Jr. Day, special day. Thanks for being a part of the program. Hope you've enjoyed your Monday 50s in the Black Hills today. People out and about and hopefully doing some great work today. Hope you had a great day. Thanks for checking in with us. Mike Hendrickson's coming up, South Dakota Sports Broadcaster Live, calling all sports from Sioux Falls. Brad Spielberger tonight, NFL analyst, PFF.com. And we like the guys at PFF, do an outstanding job. Find him on Twitter at PFF_Brad. And he's here on the Nate Brown Show, Fox Sports Rapid City. Brad, thanks for the time tonight. How are you?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm doing good, man. So I'm going to ask you tonight, we're half an hour away here, about 40 minutes away, Rams, Cardinals. I took the Rams, but I'm just going to go to win. I think it's dicey for me. I'm not sure. These teams have been inconsistent. Who would you want tonight, Kyler Murray or Matt Stafford?
It's a great question, and I think the return of J.J. Watt, honestly, even though he's J.J. Watt, I think people aren't really talking about it enough because my perception of Matthew Stafford is that he tends to handle pressure from the edge pretty well, but when he really starts to get problems and throw those interceptions and even get sacked or take some, have some bad fumbles, is when they create interior pressure. And so I think J.J. Watt could go a long way in wreaking havoc on that Rams interior, and I think that could lead to Stafford, having one of his notable bad games in primetime.
Oh, boy. Okay, we shall see. If the Rams don't get through round one, more disappointing, Rams or Cowboys?
Rams 110%. I think, and look, the Dallas Cowboys roster was very talented, but whenever you go all in and say you're going all in, you trade a second and third round pick for an aging veteran in Von Miller. Yes, a future Hall of Famer, but an older guy who's going to be a free agent after the season. You trade a second and third round pick. You obviously don't have your first round pick for the next 2 seasons because of the Matthew Stafford trade. You make all these big moves. If you don't even win a single playoff game, how much different was it than when you had Jared Goff?
I'll tell you, they went after it. As you said, they went after it, and you're saying it's going to be a tight one tonight. You like the Cardinals?
No, despite my answer, I still do think I like the Rams this game. I think it's going to be a great matchup, and whenever you see a team for the third time because they're division foes, I think things can get interesting. They obviously know each other very well. They know each other's strengths and weaknesses. Ultimately, I do think the Rams pull this game out. I think Sean McVay is going to come prepared. I think they're going to maybe do some things differently, run some more play action, get that Cardinals pass rush slowed down a bit, and I do think they're going to pull this one out.
Okay, I want to get your take on some of the other games and teams that are left. When you look at the Bengals-Titans matchup, what do you say? Titans are so undervalued, essentially. They're the number 1 seed, yet nobody's too worried about them. When you look at that one on the surface, what do you see?
Yeah, I completely agree with you. It's pretty funny. They're the number 1 seed in the AFC, but they have the 5th longest odds if you wanted to bet on the Super Bowl winner right now. And it makes sense because they did finish the season on a bit of a slump, but a lot of those injuries, are getting healthier. I mean, Derrick Henry is expected to play in this football game. Some other guys like Bud Dupree should be back. You can go down the list. Obviously, they set a record for the amount of injuries they had. So they're getting a Julio Jones be back, A.J. Brown, their other dynamic wide receiver, gets time to rest those knees of his. So I think that one's going to be tough for Cincinnati because of some of the injuries they sustained in their first game against the Raiders as well. They had a couple injuries along the interior. Larry Ogunjobi, their big nose tackle, his loss, if he cannot play in that game, could lead to a vintage Derrick Henry performance.
Okay, I want to get your read. You guys gave Josh Allen the highest grade of any quarterback this season, 94.8. He had more touchdown passes than incompletions. Didn't throw an incomplete pass since early in the second quarter. Josh Allen against Patrick Mahomes. Who should fans want there?
Yeah, it was also our highest grade we've ever given in the playoffs, going back to 2006. So a truly remarkable performance, which might suggest that it's going to be hard to replicate that, and you almost maybe expect some regression there. But the way Josh Allen is playing right now, putting the team on his back, both through the air and with his legs. I mean, he was running the ball very effectively in that game as well. End of the day, though, I do think the Kansas City Chiefs have a bit of a more complete team. I think the loss of Tre'Davious White, the number 1 cornerback for the Bills, was a massive loss. Didn't really show up against New England. Mac Jones is a rookie quarterback and isn't really testing people outside the numbers, but obviously Patrick Mahomes is testing people on every blade of grass on the field. And so I think his loss might show up, and the same issue that happened last year in the AFC Championship game, which is the Bills' defensive front is good but not great, and Patrick Mahomes is going to have time with this retooled offensive line. I think he's going to be able to sit in the pocket, find the open player, and I just don't think it's going to work out very well for Buffalo. Okay, so do you think Mahomes has it all figured out? He struggled early on. You guys at PFF still had him. Mahomes is still fine, and you really valued the Chiefs. Does he have it figured out? He goes for over 400 yards last night. Yeah, I think he, through the course of the season, learned more and more to take what the defense gives him. And the things that teams were throwing at Kansas City is also what Buffalo does very well, which is playing 2 high safeties, and the Bills have arguably the best safety duo in the NFL, and Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde, and you saw that incredible interception by Micah Hyde against the Patriots. So they do a lot of things that give Mahomes trouble, but as he kept seeing the same things throughout the season, their screen game got a lot better, which Andy Reid generally has a phenomenal Rolodex of screen plays, but also just taking more passes underneath, doing more things where you're not always looking for the home run. And I think both of these quarterbacks at times can fall in love with going for the home run. I think both got better throughout the season at not always looking for it, but it's been massive for Mahomes the last month or so. Brad Spielberger tonight, NFL analyst, PFF.com. Find him on Twitter at PFF_Brad. Follow him there. So I'm going to go to a couple of quarterbacks who are out. Jalen Hurts at Philadelphia. Can he be the long-term answer? I would tell you this. He played well enough this season that I would tell the Philadelphia Eagles, unless you are absolutely in love with one of these prospects, and they have 3 first-round picks, I want to say ranging from 16 to 19, kind of all in the same area. Unless you love one of these prospects, the beauty of what Jalen Hurts did this year is, look, he may not be the longtime franchise quarterback, but he played well enough that it's still an open question, and you should feel comfortable going into Week 1 of 2022 with him as your starter, and then you let him prove, are you the guy or not, and then maybe the following year you make the draft pick. And so, look, he was obviously very poor in that Buccaneers game. His receivers didn't exactly do him a ton of favors, but he did have a handful of errant passes, overthrew a bunch of guys, and he did not look good at all. But I would still say preach patience there. He was basically, kind of a rookie this year anyway. Take one more year to figure it out in a weak draft class, and then maybe attack that position with a retooled roster. Here's a guy who, set the world on fire in the regular season. He's making a ton of money. He is their long-term solution. You guys didn't give him a great grade. He was just below, or he was just in front of Jalen Hurts. Dak Prescott for the Cowboys. How big of a disappointment yesterday? Yeah, so from my perspective, the entire Dallas Cowboys offense was a letdown, right? I mean, take all those pre-snap penalties, aligning in the wrong spot and just not getting guys set and holding and all these things. I mean, there were two massive completions. CeeDee Lamb had a 35-yard catch and then a 20-something-yard catch. Both got brought back because of holding.
Yeah.
I just didn't love really what Kellen Moore did as offensive coordinator. Not to fully absolve Dak. I think he also struggled with letting pressures turn into sacks, which is often the quarterback's fault. So the pressure is on the offensive line, but the pressure turning into a sack, we generally give more of that fault to the quarterback. And so I don't think Dak excelled there, but he was kind of pressing a bit, right? And they were down the whole game. So I'm still a massive Dak believer. I think he can be a Super Bowl quarterback, even at his big price tag, but certainly not an overwhelmingly positive performance last night.
Okay, there was a lot of pressures. You said it. I mean, there was a lot of pressures. So give me the Brad Spielberger breakdown. We go into the divisional round after tonight. Who do you feel good about in the NFC and AFC?
So, I think the Green Bay Packers, it's going to be a great game. I mean, they've lost to the San Francisco 49ers team a couple times. The Niners did have a bunch of injuries last night, but it sounds like good news on all those fronts. Nick Bosa with a concussion, it is a short turnaround on only a 6-day week, but hopefully he can get back, and it sounds like Fred Warner, their dynamic off-ball linebacker, his ankle's doing all right. So they should be close to full strength, and I think it is going to be a great game once again. But I got to think the Green Bay Packers, with some extra rest, getting some all-pro players back on offense and on defense that have missed almost the entire season, I think they overcome that mountain against the 49ers and get it done there, make their third straight NFC Championship game.
All right, so you're leaning Packers, and the game of the week for me is Sunday night, Bills-Chiefs, and we heard you there, leaning Chiefs. Brad Spielberger tonight, NFL analyst, PFF.com. The guys at PFF, solid, PFF_Brad. Brad, thanks for the time. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right, great stuff. Brad Spielberger tonight, The Nate Brown Show, Fox Sports Rapid City, and the guys at PFF, really, really good, the best. At PFF_Brad, where you can follow him on Twitter. Great breakdown. So he's going Chiefs, surprise, surprise, and he's going Packers, surprise, surprise. He still likes the Rams tonight. It scared me for a minute, so I go Rams tonight as well. I don't like that number. They're 3-point favorites, so I'll just went the money line there. I'm going to go Rams, and then into next week, that's going to be quite the showdown. You got two big ones. The massive ones there, 49ers, Packers, Bills, Chiefs. Just really good games, I think. After a wild card weekend that was a little lackluster with some dominant performances. We come right back with Mike Henriksen live from Sioux Falls. I'm going to ask him the question. He's broadcasted sports here in South Dakota a long time. Mike's been around a long time. I'll ask him my question of the day. What is the most important goal of youth sports? A lot of answers coming in. We'll talk to Mike next.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
At Terrell Tires in the Speed Center, we let our customers do the talking.
Very well-maintained tire and speed shop, over-the-top service, and very reasonably priced. Need I say more?
Scott and crew at Terrell Tires have always gone over and beyond for us. Great prices for great tires. Also, anytime we've needed odd-sized tires for ranch equipment, Scott gets us what we need.
Great customer service. Spent plenty of time answering all of our questions, and the truck looks awesome with the new rims.
Terrell Tires and the Speed Center, 105 North Campbell Street, Rapid City.
Are new windows from Renewal by Andersen a great investment? You're darn right they are. Did you know that for less than your cable bill or cell phone bill each month, you could have new windows from Renewal by Andersen right now? Do the math. Renewal by Andersen windows will likely cut your energy bills significantly. They will likely substantially increase the value of your home. They're a great investment. Please contact our team now and ask about our fantastic financing options with approved credit right now. Renewal by Andersen, a great investment? You're darn right.
Is easy. We do it all the time. We switch on the lights, we switch the TV channels. Some of us switch partners while square dancing. Well, that's a stretch. But what's not a stretch is how you can switch and save with State Farm. I'm State Farm agent Scott Carlson right here in Rapid City, and I can switch you over and you can start saving today. Me and my team are ready to welcome you to the State Farm neighborhood. It's easy to switch and save. Just call me, State Farm agent Scott Carlson. Want the real deal? Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
America is kept safe because the Army National Guard responds, protects, and supports our nation when it needs them most. From fighting wildfires with air support, helping civilians in flooded neighborhoods, to delivering food and supplies to those who have lost everything. The Army National Guard always responds when disaster strikes. The Army National Guard also trains to be ever vigilant against threats, foreign and domestic. They protect our skies with missile defense weaponry. They secure our information, communications, and infrastructure with cybersecurity. And they protect us against chemical, biological, and radiological hazards with the civilian support team. The Army National Guard also stands ready to deploy and provide support for conflicts or humanitarian missions abroad. Join the Army National Guard and be there to respond, protect, and support your community and your country. Visit NationalGuard.com to learn more about part-time service. Sponsored by the South Dakota Army National Guard. Aired by the South Dakota Broadcasters Association and this station.
Here's some free financial advice from Pro Auto Care. Regular service and preventative vehicle maintenance always pays off big time. With regular Pro Auto Care service and maintenance, you'll extend the lifespan of your vehicle, and that means more miles and more years of use from your vehicle investment. That's just good economy. It's simple financial advice. You take care of your vehicle, and your vehicle takes care of you for a longer time. From oil changes to brakes, tires, and major repairs, see Tom at Pro Auto Care. Open as usual at 1891 Rand Road, Rapid City.
Whether you run the race, make the catch, cast a line, pitch a tent, or just look good doing it, Shields Rapid City has your gear. From athletic clothing from your favorite team, cold weather gear to keep you warm, to the best camping selection this side of the Black Hills, and the most stylish and functional women's outerwear and footwear. Shields has the widest selection of the best brands in the business. So when you're ready to get out, get in the game, or get going, get to Shields. Shields, we're right there with you at Rushmore Crossing in Rapid City.
Broadcasting from the Anytime Auto Sales, Service, and Detail Studio. Sales, service, and side-by-sides. This is Fox Sports Rapid City.
We are back on this Martin Luther King Jr. Day, special Monday. Thanks for being a part of the program. Hope you had a great day. We're in the drive at 5 tonight. Fox Sports Rapid City and the Nate Brown Show live. If you missed the show live, go to your favorite podcast downloading site. Okay, we're on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, the whole list there. The Nate Brown Show podcast. If you can't catch us live, catch the podcast when you can. Download the podcast. Great guest lineup tonight, including South Dakota sports broadcaster Mike Hendrickson. He's on Calling All Sports throughout the state, Calling All Sports. And he's back on the Nate Brown Show. Mike Hendrickson on Twitter at Mike Hendrickson. He's here on Fox Sports Rapid City. Mike, how are you?
I'm well. Happy New Year, Nate. Hope you and the family are doing great.
We are doing good, and we're off and running in 2022. And I'm going to ask you a question here that came across my radar. I was just at a youth sporting event this weekend, and then I saw this come out from a coach out in Sioux Falls. He didn't say what town this came from, but as a coach out in Sioux Falls, he was at a hockey event, and he said a hockey director of a youth sports team said, my goal is not to develop these kids into great young men, it's to win. You develop them into great young men at home. You do that at home, okay? And so I asked this question. I said, hang on a second here. I know I guess you're trying to win, I guess, but what is the most important goal of youth sports? So I threw it out to my audience. First, your reaction to, hey, I'm here to win, not to develop the folks into good young men.
Wow, that's stunning. That guy should be removed immediately. In my opinion, I don't care if they can't find somebody to replace him. The goal of youth sports is specifically to give kids an opportunity to try things, to develop themselves if that's what they want to do, to meet people, the social interaction. There are so many parts of it that come across. Winning should have absolutely very little to do with it until you get to a varsity level, in my opinion. Okay. And I don't care what the sport is.
Okay, so you say very little. You didn't say zero, but winning should very little.
They have to eventually. They have to learn how to win.
Right.
There is that aspect of it, but again, that's gradual. And you know, and I'm not sure what level this was. I always think in terms of youth sports from 6th grade down. Once you start hitting junior high, middle school, the criterion changes at that point, and depending on the size of the school and other things. But from 6th grade down, winning should be the last thing on the agenda.
So it's interesting, Mike, because I'm coaching a 3rd, 4th grade girls basketball team. It's a lot of fun. We have fun.
Lord
and
bless you.
That is right. Okay. And but I was saying, I've had this now happen a couple of weeks now. So you had this hockey story, and he didn't say which town, but the guy was from Sioux Falls that ran across this. And then I had a little deal out here in the Black Hills that, somebody was upset about winning and losing, and that was the number one goal. And then I see how we kind of design plays for one specific player in a 4th grade game, and the goal is to just win. And I said, I think this must be going on more than I realized, that, hey, we're just trying to win this 3rd grade deal. It's really, really important, and that shouldn't be the case.
Nate, I can't honestly say, because of the fact I don't pay as close of attention as I did, because I did the same thing as you. I coached, every year I tried to figure out what was worse, coaching or not coaching, one of those types of deals. And now I go to my grandkids' events, but not as much. He's got one team that is a more competitive team, but they're working on plays, they're working on development. If the wins come, that's fine. And again, he's a 6th grader, so I should qualify that.
Yeah.
But I think, I don't know, I was hoping we were getting better because of the fact now with social media, et cetera, we can call folks out. You don't have to, confront them in person. You can call them out on social media or however, anonymously.
Or on a radio show.
I would hope we're getting better, but I can't say that for sure.
Okay. All right. That's what this radio show's for, too. Big discussions. By the way, I am going to ask you about this. College sports has changed, Mike, and I'd be interested in your perspective. The college landscape, the transferring, the name, image, and likeness, the sponsorship dollars. I've been for this. I want kids to be able to, hey, I made a mistake, I'm going to transfer here. I'm for that. And now it's thousands of kids in the transfer portal, and sometimes they don't have to have a discussion with the coach or anything. And then I'm for name, image, and likeness. If a kid can be on YouTube and make money if he's in the band, he should be able to do it if he's on the basketball team. So these things I'm for, but now we're seeing boosters spending hundreds of thousands to get players to come to these colleges. Where are we going wrong?
Yeah, you knew that part was coming, but I also I'm 100% with you when it comes to transferring. Listen, my kid was in college on a theater scholarship. He was more than welcome to go over to his director's house and eat a meal, as was the entire cast. You can't do that when you're a college coach. It's absolutely ludicrous. I know they've loosened some of that up. As far as seeing it overdone, I really think, Nate, that we are going to see this settle a bit. I think people I think people are taking advantage of it right away just in case something changes or if they do tighten the screws on it. Yeah, I don't like, Matt Mooney, a few years ago for University of South Dakota, ended up transferring down to Texas Tech, and now he's in the G League and overseas. Matt ended up playing for 4 different colleges, and I didn't really like that. The way he did it was all perfectly legal at the time. But I think there should be a cap on the number of schools that you can play on. Right now, I'm watching the Nebraska hoops game on the air because I'm kind of a glutton, but I'm a Nebraska native. So, but we've got guys. A lot of the guys on both Indiana and Nebraska. This is the 4th team they've played on. A 4th college team. By the time you figure out junior college and sitting out, and then the free year, and all of those types of things. That I don't think we go back really to the old Jerry Seinfeld stand-up routine where you just end up rooting for laundry. You know, you're not rooting for the guys because they don't stick around long enough for you to get to know them or to root for them. So you're just basically rooting for the uniform.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, it's interesting. A lot of movement. You say maybe it'll settle down a little bit, and the name, image, and likeness dollars, maybe it'll settle down a little bit. And some of this isn't wrong. It's not wrong. I just don't necessarily want the best teams to be the donors that buy the best players. I don't love that.
Right, and yet at the same time, I would argue that that's always been the case.
Yeah, right.
Neil Graff in the South Dakota Sports Hall of Fame had a 7-year career as a quarterback in the NFL. He went to the University of Wisconsin, which was big time back in the 70s, and he tells you about the $100 handshakes, you know, back in 1968. So it's been happening, but now it's happening on a much more public level.
Mike Hendrickson on tonight. Calling All Sports is his show. On Twitter at Mike Hendrickson. The basketball season is going, Mike, and we're hoping we can kind of make our way through this thing. There's been cancellations, postponements. Hoping to come off with a state tournament. Are you back and ready at state basketball?
Yeah, and I'm actually really excited because for the first time in several years, Craig Maddock and I have always done the AA. This year they went back to a rotation, so we get the girls A and the boys A. And how loaded with talent are those two classes this year?
Good. Very good.
Yeah, so I'm really pumped about that and looking forward to it. It's wide open, I think, in both of those classes. Dakota Valley is looking really good. St. Thomas More, looking really good, both boys and girls. And Dakota Valley and Tommy Moore play each other in Mitchell this Saturday on the boys' side of things. So this is an exciting time of year because we're kind of starting to get a feel on who's better now than they were when they started and who is indeed at the top of the heap.
Well, I'll tell you, I love the hoops season, and I love the state tournaments. We're going to be there before we know it. Mike Hendrickson on tonight as he gets back to it. Calling All Sports is his show. And you just did this. You just said, didn't you have a meeting for the Hall of Fame?
We did, yeah. We haven't voted yet for the South Dakota Sports Hall of Fame.
All right.
That will be coming out shortly, though.
All right. Mike, good to have you. Always great. I appreciate you coming on.
Nate, I appreciate the invitation. Thanks so much. Tell Matt hello. And I can't wait to do the first boys tournament in the Monument.
Yeah, it's a great place. Good stuff. Good to have him. Mike Hendrickson tonight, Calling All Sports, his show with Mark Ovenden throughout South Dakota. And he's on Twitter at Mike Hendrickson. He'll be back for state tournament. They've got the Class A girls, Class A boys. How about that? The Class A boys is here at the Monument, the Summit Arena. That's excellent. And then we've got the AA girls here this year over in the Ice Arena. It's gonna be a fun stretch here the next month and a half. High school hoops. Mike Hendrickson on tonight, the Nate Brown Show, Fox Sports Rapid City, and he said all of the aspects is what I told you. What's the most important goal of youth sports? All of the aspects. Development, learning, winning's not as important. It's a factor for me. It should be a fact. It's fine. And the fun and friendships. Final vote tally, 41% say most important goal of youth sports is learning. Winning's not a factor. Okay, 41% say learning. 37% fun and friendship. 22% development and winning. Who's hot and who's not? I've got it for you. The Wyoming Cowboys football team, you heard about this. They lost a lot of players to the transfer portal, right? You saw the starters, and the list was high. How many of those players have found new homes? I've got an update for you, and I've also got an update on John Elway and the Broncos next.
You're listening to The Nate Brown Show, streaming live at foxsportsrapidcity.com and right here on 106.7 FM and 1150 AM Fox Sports Rapid City.
Rapid City in the Black Hills, if you're shopping for a new vehicle, before you buy, stop by Gateway, one of our two locations, 123 Omaha or 410 North Campbell. We specialize in credit rebuilder programs. We specialize in finding you the rarest cars in the market. We specialize in the funnest car buying experience. If you have good credit, bad credit, no problem. We specialize in people.
Gateway Autoplex with one of the largest inventories in the Black Hills. I'm Scott Hanna.
And I'm Adam Ray.
And nobody
beats a Gateway deal.
Banking at any time, any place, for anyone. That's what Highmark Credit Union is all about. Born in Rapid City 80 years ago, they're proud to bring a full range of consumer products and commercial lending services to thousands of area members. If you're looking for a place to bank where you're just not an account number, Highmark is the answer. Learn more at highmarkfcu.com or stop by any of their branches for more about better banking. Highmark Credit Union. We'll make it happen.
Kelly Blue Book Instant Cash Offer from Denny Menholt Toyota. Use your phone. It's fast and easy. Pull up our website, click on Value Trade-In, scan your VIN, and tell us about your car. You are on your way to a no-hassle, no-commitment cash offer on your vehicle in under 5 minutes. Bring your vehicle and your Kelly Blue Book Instant Cash Offer to Denny Menholt Toyota and get cash or trade-in credit today. See you soon at Denny Menholt Toyota, Rapid City.
Broadcasting from the Anytime Auto Sales, Service, and Detail Studio. Sales, service, and side-by-sides. This is Fox Sports Rapid City.
All right, let's run through this thing on a Monday. Hope you had a great day. Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Special day here, and the Nate Brown Show Live. We're going to wrap it up with Who's Hot and Who's Not, brought to you by the Pizza Ranch. PizzaRanch.com. Carry out and delivery specials right now. 2 locations. PizzaRanch.com. Then hit it up Wednesday. Kids Day. 1 child 12 and under eats free for every regular priced adult. The Pizza Ranch Buffet. Wednesdays. Who's Hot category. We got a couple here. We got a couple now, okay? I'm going to tell you, Josh Allen, okay? I've been telling you, Josh Allen, you got to put him in the Who's Hot category. The first time we've ever seen it in an NFL season. No field goals, no punts, no picks, no fumbles lost. All touchdowns every drive. All touchdowns every drive. First time you've seen it, and the highest graded postseason performance at quarterback by PFF in the history of PFF, which started back in 2006. Josh Allen had a day Saturday night. Now he needs to do it again. Maybe not that good, but he's got to be good against Showtime Mahomes. The Bills and my Wyoming Cowboys QB. Josh Allen in my Who's Hot category. In my Who's Not category, I'll also mention the Wyoming Cowboys. Why? Wyoming Cowboys lost players in the transfer portal. Coach Craig Bohl's been trying to, hey, what's going on here? The news is this. 4 of the transfers that left the Wyoming Cowboys, they found homes. 4 of the transfers from the Pokes are now playing for Power 5 schools. Wyoming loses 4 transfers to Power 5 schools. Tough being in Laramie these days. And in my Pizza Ranch, Who's Not as well, it's a double hitter. John Elway, the great Broncos legend, in a quote today with 9 News, if a new ownership group comes together to buy the Broncos, quote, the Broncos have been in my life for 40 years, so I want to be a part of it. It's a matter of seeing how everything plays out, but I would definitely like to be involved. The Broncos, outside of Peyton Manning's time, under John Elway, outside of Peyton Manning, the record, 47-66. Peyton was good. That made John Elway really, really good. He brought him in. Outside of that, 47-66. But John Elway may be pursuing to be a part of an ownership group to buy the Broncos. We're back tomorrow. Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoy your Martin Luther King Jr. Day evening and the Rams Cardinals. We'll see you here at 4. The Odd Couple taking over right now.